So like the hostess said, my name is Chantel Graham. I'm a makeup artist and a beauty therapist. I actually celebrate my 12-year anniversary in makeup next week. Sorry? I don't work for free, I got bills to pay. No, sorry auntie, no freeness around here. I like the coins. So like I said, I've been doing makeup and beauty therapy now for 12 years. I fell into makeup. I have to admit, it wasn't what I wanted to do when I was a child. It certainly wasn't what my mother wanted me to do. But I love it. I love everything about makeup. I am obsessed with makeup. My house is filled with makeup. This isn't even a quarter of the amount of makeup that I own. My accountant told me I've spent in the regions of about £15,000 on makeup. I'm not rich. But I like to buy makeup, I like to try makeup. So what I've got here with me today is some makeup from a brand called Black Secret. Most of you will have never heard of Black Secret before. It's a brand that I've brought over to the UK. It actually began its journey in Ghana. So my business partner started Black Secret nearly 10 years ago. I met him by chance in 2014. I absolutely loved the makeup. And I said to him, I believe that women in Britain needed to have a mineral makeup brand that was specifically for us. If you've gone out to buy makeup, you know majority of the makeup that's available is not designed for black skin, even when they say that it is, simply because they don't understand our skin tones. So when I found a range that worked really well, I thought it was important that I brought it to the forefront. So I'm the brand manager for Black Secret Makeup in the UK. I'm also the only distributor. So you can only purchase this makeup from me, but I am working on having some people distribute it on my behalf. So like I said, Black Secret Makeup is a range of makeup that is mineral, and it's specifically for women of color, i.e. women like ourselves. I've got some other bits and pieces here that are not from Black Secret, but they're stuff that you can get on the high street, and they're items that I love, that I also like to share. One of the questions I get asked the most about makeup is, what can you buy? What should you buy? How much does it cost? Not everybody has a lot of money to spend on makeup, so I have to know of ranges that are a little bit more affordable but still work just as well as some of the really expensive brands. So today I'm going to do a demonstration on my wonderful model, and I'm going to move quite quickly because we're pushed for time, but you can ask me any questions. If there's anything that I've said that doesn't make sense, if I've done something and you don't understand what I'm doing, please, please, please don't just sit there and look at me. Talk to me, interact with me, so I know that everything I'm saying is making sense. Is that okay? All right. So what I'm going to go through today is doing a full face of makeup. Now, I'm a mum. I have two children. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 1-year-old baby. So I've had to learn how to look good very quickly while I'm trying to get the oldest one through the door to college and stop the baby from tearing down the whole house. So I can put my makeup on in about 10 minutes. I can even do my makeup in a moving car, because I'm often the lady that's doing her makeup on the train, and I don't care because it gets me clients. Some of my highest paying clients are people that I've met on the train or on the bus whilst I'm putting my face on. So one of the things that I say is makeup is there to enhance what you already have. It is not supposed to create a face that you don't recognize. So ladies, when you put your makeup on, you should still look like you. Please. Pastor Lola will tell you, if I take this off, I still look like Chantel. Yeah, my boyfriend is not going to wake up in the middle of the night next to me in bed and say, Lord, who is she? Because it's all come off. Okay? Makeup is, we are all beautiful as we are, and we just use makeup to enhance certain features. You should not be creating a face and your children don't know who you are, or your friend will walk past you in the street. And a lot of the time that's because we're wearing too much makeup. I always say makeup comes in little bottles and little pots for a reason. That's because you don't need a lot of it. In actual fact, when you're putting on too much makeup, not only are you wasting your money because you're using too much product, you're also clogging up your skin. And that's not what makeup is designed for. But I understand that when you go to buy makeup, i.e. from MAC, from Bobbi Brown, you're generally buying makeup from someone who's a salesperson, and their job is to sell you as many products as possible. And half the time, a lot of what they're selling you, you may not even use. So like the host said, I've done makeup at London Fashion Week, I've done photo shoots, I've done makeup for Pastor Lola, that's how I met her. I've done makeup on a dead person. Now that was really fun because they didn't talk or tell me how to do my job and didn't tell me what colors to use. So I've done makeup on just about every situation that you can think of. And I love it. Every job I get is different. I've been all over the world doing makeup. I've done makeup on famous people. I've done makeup on children. I've done makeup for proms. Just about everything that you can think of where makeup is needed, I've done it. And one of the things that I love to share is how to put makeup on correctly and how to go out and purchase your makeup and make sure that you're buying makeup that works for you. For hygiene reasons, you cannot return makeup. So you need to be getting your purchases right, because if you get it wrong, then you're stuck with it and there's nothing that you can do with it. So as you know, there were hundreds of makeup brands out there, hundreds of them that are available here in the UK, but there are not that many that are designed specifically for women of color. And I find that a lot of the makeup that we're buying, because it's not designed for us, it doesn't work for us. So we're either making ourselves look too light or making ourselves look too dark. And the purpose of makeup is just to even out your complexion and give you a flawless finish. That's it. It's not supposed to lighten you or darken you. There are other products out there that will do that. So your foundation should be the same color as your skin already is, but it will just give you that even look. So there shouldn't be much of a difference between the color here and the color there. That's a no-no. Everything should look the same and it should look flawless. So anyway, that's enough of me talking, because I'm sure you just want to see what I can do. You're like, yeah, she talks a lot, but can she actually put makeup on? Okay. So before we put makeup on, we always talk about prepping the skin. Basically means how you prepare the skin. And I always say to people, this is actually the most important part. I don't care what makeup you use. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how long you've had it. If you are not looking after your skin, if you are not preparing your skin properly, then everything else that you do afterwards is kind of irrelevant. Now, people always say to me, how do I get good skin? What do I buy? Now, I'm going to tell you for free, there is no miracle product in a jar. Good skin comes from eating healthily, sleeping, not getting too stressed, and generally looking after your body. That is the secret to good skin. So all of these products that are out there that can say, you know, it's for anti-aging and it's to do this, yeah, that's all well and good. It's going to assist you, but if you've battered your skin for the last 50 years, there's no cream in a pot that I can sell you that's going to change that. The only thing that's going to change that is your lifestyle. So you have to look at things like the food that you're eating, things like being in air conditioning and then going out into the sun, that makes a difference to your skin. Think simple things like not getting enough sleep. My face tells me when I haven't been getting enough sleep because my complexion doesn't look as bright. I'm going to say something that probably doesn't make sense as a makeup artist, but I actually don't wear makeup every day. I don't actually like to. And my partner doesn't like me to wear makeup. He understands what I do and he respects what I do, but he much more prefers me in my natural state. And it's taken me a long time to get used to my natural face and learn to love my natural face. And I started to do that by learning how to look after my skin and realizing that I don't actually need to wear a lot of makeup in order to create a flawless complexion. So like I said, everything is about how you would prepare your skin. So before you put your makeup on, your face should be clean. So by using some kind of face wash, some kind of face scrub, whatever the case may be, even if it's just a face wipe, you need to clean your skin before you put makeup on. Because if you put in makeup onto dirty skin, it is going to make a difference. You may think that it doesn't, but it does. So I will just very quickly wipe over the face. Now, you may think that your skin isn't that dirty, but you can see all of what's coming off. So you can imagine if I'm putting makeup on top of what's already there, it's not going to be good. Can everybody see what I'm doing? Can everybody hear me? Yeah? Okay, cool. So once the skin is clean, we're then going to go into the next stage, which is what we call priming, which is basically the product that you're going to put on your skin before you apply your makeup. Now, I'm a big fan of primers. A lot of people say they don't make any difference. Personally, as an oily girl, they make a big difference. Most black people have oily skin. Embrace the oiliness, ladies. Oily skin is the best skin type to have. When I've done fashion shows and I have to move very quickly, I would much rather deal with a model that's got oily skin than dry. Because if your skin is very oily, all I've got to do is show you what you need to do to take the shine away. If your skin is very dry, I have to work very hard to put a lot of moisture back into your skin, which is time consuming, which also means I have to carry around a lot more products. So generally for me, my oiliness is on what we call the T-zone, which is here and here. So I would generally put a lot more powder in that area, simply because that's where most of my oiliness will come through. But I would always use a primer before I put my foundation on. Sometimes I would just wear primer on its own without putting on any makeup, because it kind of helps with the shine. So most of you probably have oily skin and you probably complain about it, or you try to figure out what you can do to stop it. You need the oils. The oils is what keeps your skin moisturized, keeps the skin supple, and that's what makes us look youthful. So when we say black don't crack, it's the oil that's helping. I want someone to guess how old I am. And don't, if you already know me and know how old I am, don't put your hand up. Just throw out numbers. 45, 35, 38, 53, okay. Anybody else? 42. I look like I'm 30. Oh, bless you, you're sweet. I'm a little bit more than 30. I turned 37 in September. You did, thank you, you got it right. 9 times out of 10 when I'm out with my daughter, nobody believes she's my child. Everyone says, oh, that must be your sister. I'm like, yeah, she is. Because it makes me feel good about myself. But what I've learned is that the secret to me looking a little bit younger is, like I said, down to looking after my skin, preparing my skin before I put makeup on. So in terms of primer, a little bit goes a long way. So I don't know if you can all see, literally, that's all I will need to do the whole face. That's all that you need. And then we're literally going to just apply it all over the face. Do we have any questions? Is there anything I've said that you don't understand, that doesn't make sense? No? We're cool? Okay. Okay, so that's the primer applied all over the face. I would say one of the most important things about makeup that you have to get right, if nothing else, is your foundation color. Once you've got the right foundation that works for your skin tone, works for your skin type, everything else is pretty simple. But if your foundation color is wrong, it doesn't matter if your lipstick color is amazing, because people are going to focus on the wrong thing. Now, when it comes to foundation, in terms of trying out foundations...
Sorry, excuse me, the primer, is it just neutral for any skin?
Yes, it is. So the primer comes colorless, which means it will work on any skin tone, and when you put it on, it's not going to affect the color of your skin already. So when it comes to foundations, it can take time for you to find a color that works for you. So you might have to try several different shades before you find the one that works for you. Just a little note, you need to test your foundation where you're going to wear it, i.e. on your face. Yeah? Not necessarily on the back of your hand, on the back of your knee, on your little toe, on your neck. You test the makeup where it's going to go. The reason why we say that is because our skin is different shades in different areas of our body. So if I tested my foundation to my foot, that would be great. But the likelihood is that my foot is probably a little bit lighter or a little bit darker than my face, and then it's not going to work. So you always want to be testing your foundation on the face. Now, for me, it's quite easy in terms of picking a foundation color because I've been doing makeup for a long time. So I can generally look at somebody, look at my foundation colors, and 9 times out of 10 get it pretty much right in terms of what's going to work for them. If you're in doubt about what color may work for you, the best thing to do would be to test 2, maybe 3 different colors on the face. The best place to test foundation, turn to the side, is either on the jaw, here, or on the forehead. And you only need a small amount. So I would take...
Why is that? Sorry, if you've got even tone skin, what do you do then?
Say that again? If you've got an even tone skin, then 9 times out of 10, you would look at having to possibly buy 2 foundations and use one in one place and use one somewhere else, which is the case for many women of color. So, like I said, on the jaw. So that's that one there. So what do we think of that color? Does that match? Too light. What do we think of the one next to it? You can't see it. And what do we think of that one? That one's too dark. Okay. So now we know of the 3 colors that we've tried, the one that you said you can't see, that's the one that's your color. Yeah? Because that's not going to make you look too dark, it's not going to make you look too light, it's going to work exactly as it should. So I'm going to remove those, and then I'm going to put the foundation on. Now, I'm a huge fan of the foundation brush. I've got one foundation brush that I love to pieces, and I guard it with my life because it cost me nearly £100 for one brush. I didn't bring it out with me today. I left it at home under lock and key. I personally think that foundation should be applied with a brush simply because you get to spread the product out, you get to get into all the little areas that you need to. I love sponges, but the problem I have with sponges is that they absorb more product than they put onto your skin. And you want your product to go on your face, you don't want it to go into the sponge. So I always say your brush is for applying your foundation, the sponge is just for you to blend it out. Does that make sense? Okay. So when you're applying your foundation, so do you see how the brush can get right into the corners of the eyes, can get right underneath, can get there into the nose? And we would just start working our way and working it into the skin. Now, what I'm using here is a cream to powder foundation. Basically, what that means is that it goes on as a cream and it will set to a slight powder finish. The great thing about creams is you can build up the coverage. So you can put a tiny bit on, if that's all you need, or you can put on a little bit more. Is it making any difference? Has her color changed? No. She still looks like herself, yeah? Close your eyes for me. When you're putting your foundation on, try to avoid your eyebrows. Try to go around them. If you put too much foundation into your eyebrow hairs, you're going to have to work really, really hard to cover them up. With your foundation, when you get up to here, like into the hairline, you're blending your foundation towards the hairline, not into your hair. So I don't want to see a line of foundation around here. Some of us pay a lot of money for our hair. We don't want foundation all around here. So as you can see, although my brush is moving quickly, I'm blending into the hairline, but not actually onto it. And you would just keep going until you feel you've got enough coverage. If there's any areas where you think you might need a little bit more, you can go over them again. Okay. And then here is when this is when I would use the sponge only. As you can see, I didn't use a sponge to apply it, but I would use a sponge just to blend it out. When you're blending, it's not like that. Take your time, just as you can see, dabbing, because what you don't want to be doing is taking the product off. You want to be blending it into the skin. So you can see how much I'm touching her, but there's not that much on the sponge. So that's a good indication that you're blending it and not actually removing it. Do we have any questions? No? So when I ask you all to do makeup on me, yeah, everyone knows what to do, yeah? Okay, so like I said, you want to blend that all in. Now, there is something that you can do with your foundation, which I learned from a drag queen. And it's called baking, which basically means you put your foundation on and you just leave it there for a while, which is great if you've got like an hour or two to be getting ready. But most of the women that I teach makeup to are busy mums. They don't have 45 minutes to sit there and wait for the foundation to settle in. They need to move really quickly. But if you are someone that has a little bit more time, you could maybe put your foundation on, maybe do your eyebrows, maybe do your lips, and then come back to it afterwards. So like I said, we didn't put foundation on the eyebrows, we put it around, and we would just blend it out so that we don't have that line. I haven't put very much on, but I could build it up and cover it more. Okay? Now, although what I used was a cream to powder foundation, I would still put powder on her afterwards. I'm a big believer in powder. A lot of the time when you buy a foundation, they'll just sell you a foundation on its own and they won't talk to you about powder afterwards, particularly for us as women of color because we have oily skin. You can wear powder on its own, even if you don't want to wear any foundation, and that's fine. I'm a huge fan of pressed powders like this because they're easy to carry around and it means that you can do your touch-ups throughout the day. You do need to touch up your makeup throughout the day. Do not believe these adverts that say, oh yes, the lipstick is going to last 12 hours. Really? I want someone to show me that lipstick that I put on at 8 o'clock in the morning and is still there at 8 o'clock at night. I have not found it yet, but when you do, let me know. Yeah? And what has it got in it why it can last 24 hours? So I would always recommend that after your foundation, you use powder. Powder is there to basically set the foundation. It's to keep it in place, to stop it from moving around, and it's also to help eliminate shine. So in terms of brushes, your powder brush is always the biggest brush, simply because it needs to go all over the face. And we just start to dust the powder on. Now, you can get powders that come in similar shades to foundations, or you can get powders that are completely colorless. The only issue I have with some of the powders that are white or colorless is that sometimes they can make us look chalky. So I'm not always a huge fan of those for women of color. For Caucasian women, they're fine, but sometimes for us, they can give us that ghost-like appearance, which is not what you want. So a powder that's colored and similar to your foundation color is the best. Okay, and there we go, that's her powder done. Then I would literally maybe put a little bit more on the areas that I know she's a little bit oilier, just to help keep the shine away. And then that can just pop into her handbag and she can carry it with her for the day, and she can do her touch-ups as and when she needs to. Now in terms of makeup, people always ask me what's the right way, the right steps to apply your makeup. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people will do lipstick first, then foundation. Some people will do foundation, then their eyes. It's entirely up to you. The main thing is that by the end of it, your makeup is looking flawless. There's no set routine in the way in which you have to apply the products. So, eyebrows, very important. They're on your face for a reason. I prefer if you didn't shave them off and try and draw them back on, because often you can't get them both looking the same. Eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Yes? Eyebrows are sisters, meaning that they look similar, but they're not identical twins. Now, the reason why we say that is because if you look at somebody's face, because we are human beings and not aliens, our faces are not symmetrical, which means that this side is not the same as that side. So when you're doing your eyebrows, you're trying to balance them out to get them looking similar, but you will be in that mirror for your entire life, trying to get both eyebrows looking exactly the same. It's not going to happen. There's nothing wrong with your eyebrows. You're not weird, you're not strange, you wasn't born with some kind of deformity or anything like that. It's simply because the left and the right side of your face are slightly different. So you might find that maybe the right side droops very slightly. Not necessarily noticeable to the eye, but when you're doing the eyebrows, that's when you will see that. I'm a huge fan of having your eyebrows shaped. Personally, I get my eyebrows threaded because I think it gives the best finish. But I think it really works well in terms of just giving you a definitive shape, and then it makes it really easy for you to have something to work with. Now, some people are blessed with having naturally perfectly shaped eyebrows. I hate those kind of people because I'm not one of those girls. So I am someone that is sitting in the threading chair every 3 to 4 weeks and getting mine sorted. I would love to tell you that mines are naturally like this, but they're really not. So before you put any product on your eyebrows, you want to be combing them through and just smoothing them out. If you are going to pluck your eyebrows yourself, which some people do, and there's nothing wrong with that, you want to be taking a majority of the hair from here, underneath the eyebrow. That's the bit that you want to be removing. You will take a few hairs away from the top, but you don't want to take away too much because it's the top that actually gives you your natural shape. So you can imagine if I start taking off all of these, the eyebrows are going to look really, really strange. So we remove from underneath. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, so we would just comb them through and get them ready. Now, in terms of eyebrows, there are many, many different products out there that you can use on your eyebrows. Personally, I am a huge fan of powders. You can even use eyeshadow. If you have like a brown or a black eyeshadow, you can use that on your eyebrows. Here's a little secret for you. Eyeshadows and blusher are the exact same product. They are the exact, eyeshadows and blushes are the exact same product. They have the same ingredients, just one comes in tiny pots and one comes in slightly bigger. So if you have maybe a pinky, purpley, reddish kind of eyeshadow color that doesn't work on your eyes, you can put it on your cheeks. Now, when you go to buy makeup, they're not going to tell you that because they want to sell you 4 eyeshadow colors and 2 blushes as well. But a lot of makeup products are actually quite transferable. And if you look at the ingredients, they're both made from the same thing. So sometimes I go out to makeup jobs and I don't want to carry lots of things with me. So I have to learn how I can use one product to do several things. So I will carry maybe one eyeshadow palette that's got 50 colors in there because I know there'll be a color in there that you could put on your eyebrows. Does that make sense? So like I said, I'm a huge fan of powders for eyebrows and a slanted brush. I prefer this technique myself because I find it's really easy in terms of just building up the color gradually. Some people love to use pencils. For myself, I find that sometimes a pencil can be a little bit too harsh and then you've got too much color on and that will make your eyebrows stand out a little bit too much, which is not what you want. So I like to use powder and a slanted brush and then I can build up the color gradually. Now, most people believe that because we are women of color, that when we do our eyebrows, we should be doing them in black. I would say probably not, because sometimes black can be a little bit too harsh. Try going for a dark brown, even if it's the darkest brown you can find. So you see, I'm just doing very, very light strokes and slowly adding a little bit of color at a time. The reason why I apply it in light strokes is because it gives me a chance to step back and have a look. If it looks like it's not enough, then I can put a little bit more on. If it's fine, then I'll leave it as it is. But if I've put too much on, then I have to start working really hard at taking it away, which is going to take more time. And when I'm doing something like a fashion show or a photo shoot, I'm really pushed for time. When I done London Fashion Week, they gave me 20 minutes to do a full face of makeup. You have to move quickly, so there's no room for error, there's no room for mistakes. So would you say she's got enough color? Would you say she needs a little bit more? That's enough, okay. That's what you want to go for with your eyebrows. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just filling them in. Just adding a little bit of color, which gives them a little bit of definition. I'm not changing the color of her eyebrows. I'm not taking anything away. Do we have any questions regarding eyebrows? Right, I'm going to put just a little bit more, just to take her eyebrows down there a tiny bit. Okay, so I would then step back, have a look, check to see if I've got enough colour on both eyebrows. Like I said, you're not going to get them to look identical, but you're trying to work on getting the shapes as close to each other as possible. If I feel like any one of them needs a little bit more or requires a little bit more blending, then I would work on that. Do you see the reason why I used a brown? When you look at the brown, you think it's not going to do anything, but you can see how much difference it's made. Guaranteed, if I use black, her eyebrows would be way too prominent and they'd be too dark, and it would be the first thing that you notice and not for the right reason. So try to remember that. Eyebrows, you can do them in dark brown and it will still complement them and they'll still look really good. So once I feel I've applied enough colour, I'm just going to comb that through a little bit. I'll pop that back in there. And then one of the things that I love to put on eyebrows, which just helps to seal in the colour and keep them in place, is clear mascara. Just dust that away there. Now, a lot of the time when I'm doing makeup, I might do somebody's makeup in the morning, but it has to be designed to last for several hours, and I may not always be there to touch up the makeup for them. So I have to learn little tricks that's going to keep makeup in place and not make you have to always be doing bits and pieces to it. So this is why I love clear mascara. So you literally just brush it on. A clear mascara. And what it's going to do is it's just going to seal in the colour. Now, because it's clear, it's not going to alter the colour of her eyebrows. If I went with a coloured mascara, then I might run the risk of once again making her eyebrows too dark. So a clear is the safest bet. And then once again, just brush it through. How are we looking so far? Good? Okay. Any questions on eyebrows before I move on to the next thing? No? Everybody understood that? That made sense? So I'll show you once again. It was this palette that I used, which is basically just a powder. I've applied it in light strokes with a slanted brush, and then I've gone over it in clear mascara just to seal the colour in, to keep everything in place. Yeah? Okay. Go for it. Hello. Hello, you. How are you?
Awesome. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too. I know you have had your makeup done by me.
Recommendation endorsement is amazing. Why can't we use pencil, brown pencil instead of...
You can do, I did say you can use pencils. I personally prefer the slanted brush and the powder because I think you get to build up the color and it means that you don't run the risk of making your eyebrows too dark. So I'm just not a fan of pencils, but if you have a pencil that you use and you love it and it works, that's fine. I'm just sharing with you some of the things that I do that I think work really well for me. So Black Secret do sell an eyebrow pencil, but I don't really use it when I do makeup because I don't like the way it finishes. I feel like this gives a much more natural finish for me personally. Does that answer your question? Okay, so we've prepped her skin, we've matched her foundation, we've applied her foundation, we've blended it out, we've then put powder on top of the foundation in order to seal it, to set it, to keep it in place, and we've also done her eyebrows. So the next thing that I want to show you all is my all-time favorite makeup product, which is blusher. Blusher to me is one of the products that most women tend to get wrong, simply because most women tend to put on too much blusher. Blusher is designed to just give you a little bit of a rosy glow on the cheeks, so you kind of look like you're blushing very gently. It's not supposed to look like 2 pink stripes down your face. It's supposed to be a hint of a color. It's not supposed to be so severe that you can actually see the 2 lines on the cheeks. When I do makeup tutorials, blusher is generally the one thing that most women are getting wrong that I tend to get asked about. A lot of women, because they're so scared of getting blusher wrong, they just don't bother with it. But I always say, for me, blusher is probably one of the most important steps because it's what you're going to use to balance out the face and to give a little bit of color. So with blusher, a little bit goes a long way. So what you don't do is you don't take your brush and then, because then you're going to end up with too much blusher on. Just a little dab. I don't know if you can see the tiny amount of product that I've got on the brush. That's enough. I need you to give me a really big cheesy grin. Yeah, you look silly, but it works. The reason why I've asked her to do that, keep grinning, is because it enables me to see exactly where the apples of her cheeks are, so I know where I'm applying my blusher. Can you see the blusher on there? Yeah, you see, a little bit goes a long way. That is literally all that you need. Now, if you put your blusher on and you feel like, oh, it's a bit too much, I didn't necessarily want that much on there, what you can do is you can go back over with your powder to tone it down. But you're also amazing, you're going to get your blusher right first time anyway. So I could just go over it with powder, and you see instantly, that will just tone it down a little bit. So do you see how the blush has just given her a little hint of color, but not lots? And then you would step back and check and apply a little bit more powder if you thought you needed to, or put a little bit more blusher on if you thought that's what you needed. Did everybody understand what I just done there with the blusher? So like I said, a little bit goes a long way. A small amount of blusher is all that you need. It's just to give a light wash of color on the cheeks. It's not supposed to be 2 definite lines coming down your face. Nobody can carry off that look well. And then we just want to make sure that it's blended. When you're putting your blusher on, like I said, we're working towards the hairline, not into the hairline. So your blusher should always be about here. Your blusher shouldn't be up here near your eyebrows. It shouldn't be down here in your jawline. It's blusher for your cheeks. You put it on your cheeks. If you feel like you're not too sure exactly where your cheekbones are or where your cheek line is, can you suck in your cheeks for me? Then you can do that. As you can see, it instantly makes this area pop. And then you can see exactly that's where you need to be putting your blusher, just there. If you put the blusher too far down, where this is a red product, if I put it too far down, it's going to make it look like she's bruised or bleeding. That's not going to look good. So where I put it is exactly where it should be. And the most you want to do is blend the color in or blend it towards the hairline. So your blusher should stop at about there. It shouldn't be going into the hair, into the ears, just there. Okay, does that make sense? Cool. Am I moving too fast? No? Okay, okay. Now, I always say to women, if you don't have much time, but you want to put a little bit of makeup on, I love mascara. Because mascara and lipstick can instantly transform your face. So even if that's all you wear, that's fine, because it will emphasize the eyes and it will also emphasize the lips. There are tons of mascaras out there of all different prices from all different companies. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Max Factor mascaras. So far, of everything I've tried, they're the ones that have worked the best, in my opinion. You can buy them on the high street, Boots, Superdrug, anywhere like that. I think Max Factor mascaras retail for about £10 or £11. I love them because they work really well. They add definition. They also add volume. So with your mascara, the first thing you don't want to do is you don't want to pump the brush into the bottle. You're not getting any more product on the brush. All you're doing is letting in air, which is going to make your mascara dry out. You can literally just twist it in, and there should be more than enough product on the brush for you. Look straight ahead for me. When you're doing your mascara, you want to be working from root to tip. So you want to be combing it through. The mistake a lot of people make is when they put their mascara on, they just do this, which is when you get what we call tarantula eyes. So you get a build-up of mascara on the tips of your lashes, but there's nothing else, there's nothing anywhere else. And it will make your eyes stand out for the wrong reason. So literally, you want to take your brush and you just want to twirl it. Keep looking forward. And that will distribute the mascara from the roots right up into the tip. And then you can take the brush and just go over the tips a little bit more if you need to. Once again, you want to roll the brush from the root all the way up to the tip. Now, one of the questions people ask me a lot in regards to mascara is people always ask about the bottom lashes. Should I do them? Should I not do them? I would say yes, you should do them, because the whole point of mascara is to frame the eyes, and you're going to get a much better look if you do your mascara on your bottom lashes. Particularly as well, if you're someone who doesn't have much bottom lashes, it will really help in terms of giving definition. Yes. So, when you're doing the bottom lashes, you need to look up to the ceiling, and then once again. When you're doing this, you're going to need to move quite quickly, because your eyes will probably start to water. And just gentle strokes. Once again, look up. Okay, and just gentle strokes. Everybody's with me so far? So we've gone through prepping, primer, foundation, powder, eyebrows, and mascara. We've also gone through blusher as well. And now we're on to our final step, which would be the lips. Now, the great thing about lips is that I always say your lips are individual. Some women love plenty of color, some women love a little bit, some women love lipstick, some women love lip glosses. It's entirely up to you what you want to go for. Lipsticks are great if you want to add lots of color quite quickly. Lip glosses I find are great because they come up quite sheer, so you can try out colors that way and you can build it up if you want to. So the color that I'm wearing on my lips is actually this. I just haven't put that much of it on. If I wanted it to be this bright, I'd really have to build the layers up. So that's why I'm a fan of lip glosses, because I can wear this color in the daytime and I can also wear it in the evening just by adding a little bit more, and you wouldn't necessarily know that it's the same products that I've used. So when it comes to the lips, generally in makeup we used to say that lipstick was for the evening and in the day you'd wear lip gloss. I say scrap that. If you want to wear bright red lipstick in the day, there's nothing wrong with that. That might be your look, that might be your favorite color. That's fine. Lipstick comes in so many different shades, and Red is probably one of the most famous lip colours because it's the one colour that suits everyone. But as women of colour, we have to be sure that the shade of red that we're getting is right for us. So the shades of red that work for us a little bit better is a red that maybe has a little bit more burgundy in it as opposed to orange. So something that's a little bit slightly darker than a little bit brighter. Does that make sense? But the great thing about lipstick, the great thing about makeup is you can wipe it off if you don't like it. So you can really experiment and try lots of different colors, try lots of different things. And if it doesn't work, you take it off. And if you love it, you can keep going with it. So, so one of the things you can also do with your lipsticks is you can actually mix your colors together. So when I'm going on a makeup job, I don't want to carry 50 lipsticks with me. So I might carry 20 shades, but I will carry 20 shades that I know can mix really, really well. So as you can see, I've got two different shades of red. I've got a really, really dark one, and I've got a really light one. So I'm going to just take just a tiny bit off of each. Any questions? No? No questions? Everything makes sense? Anything that I haven't said or haven't spoken about? No? You're all very quiet. I'm convinced I'm here by myself.
Sorry, I didn't quite get.
Hi. I was talking about in terms of colours and the different shades. In terms of reds, for us as women of colour, particularly if you're slightly darker, like myself, a red that's got a little bit more burgundy, i.e. a darker red, can sometimes complement us a little bit more than a red that's got lots of orange. For you, I'd say, yeah, something that's a little bit more burgundy would work a lot better. It also depends on your age. My daughter at 17 can get away with a really bright red lipstick and it looks great on her. But for me at 36, the same bright red doesn't necessarily work as well. One, because of my skin tone, and two, because I think I'm a little bit too mature to carry off that kind of vibrant color. So I would just mix these two colors together. And as you're mixing, you can see what the end result is. So would you say that that's too light, too dark? What would you say you'd want me to do with that? It's fine? Okay. And this is the great thing about mixing it. You can just keep on adding until you get what you want. And then we're going to just start applying it. Now, in terms of makeup brushes, your lip brush is often one of the smallest brushes. You want to be applying your lipstick with quite a small brush. How are we looking? Open your mouth for me slightly. And that's it. We want to get right into the corners. And then I need you to just do this for me. That's it, that's perfect. Now the only thing about red is a colour that can bleed really easily, so you might just need to just neaten up around the lip line a tiny bit. What do we think of the colour? Does it work? So I know that if I'd showed her that, she would have been like, no way. And even if I may have thought that it would suit her, she probably would have looked at it and said it's too bright. So simply by adding something a little bit darker, she gets a shade of red that works for her. So like I said, don't be afraid to mix your lipstick colours together to create the shade that you're looking for, because unfortunately no company can produce every single shade that's out there. So you have to learn to mix products to get what you want. Any questions on lips? No? Anything you didn't understand? Did I go through anything too quickly? Okay, so let's do a quick recap. We've done prepping the skin, priming the skin, selecting your foundation color, applying your foundation, putting your powder on afterwards, which is key to setting your foundation. We've also talked about eyebrows, how to give a little bit of color to the eyebrows to give them some definition. We've talked about mascara, how to add mascara to your lashes to give volume, to give them definition, to add color to them. We spoke about a clear mascara on top of your eyebrow color to just seal it in. We spoke about a little bit of blusher on the cheeks just to give a hint of color. And then we've also gone with a classic red lip, which is the color that most people want to know how to wear. Okay? Is that good? Yeah?
Can we give Chantel a round of applause? We are almost finishing the program. We have one more 10-minute slot. It's nice, very nice. Yeah, it's lovely, yeah.
See, you still look like you.
Thank you. Can we give Chantel a round of applause? And our model, Ayo, please give Ayo a round of applause. Thank you. So, you know, today has been all about prepare